Oh, it's great to have anti-racism educator Selam Debs on the show to talk about a very important topic, dismantling colonial belief systems in our society. She joins us with more on her, well, you teach an anti-racism course, but we want to even learn more about racial trauma. And you've been on the show through Skype, but never on the show. So it's great to have you on the couch this morning and to educate us. I know sometimes we should be educating ourselves, but it's also good to get some help too. And things like, what is racial trauma? Can you take us through that?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, racial trauma is the ways in which Black, Indigenous, and racialized folks, experience mental and emotional injury due to encounters with racism and discrimination. And it, prolonged impacts of like racism lead to like symptoms that we see in PTSD. So post-traumatic stress disorder, like depression, like anxiety, like low self-esteem, like headaches, insomnia, isolation, and so forth.
What is an example, let's say, of racial trauma?
Yeah, well, racial trauma, we can see it, for example, in code switching. So code switching.
Yeah, what's code switching?
Yeah, so code switching is the ways in which Black, Indigenous, and racialized folks, it's like a survival technique. It's the ways in which we change the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we express ourselves to comfort white folks in exchange for, safety, job opportunities, quality service, and so forth.
What's an example of code switching that you would know?
Yeah, well, for example, like a lot of folks feel like they won't get a job. A lot of Black women, for example, feel like they won't get a job if they go to a job interview wearing braids, for example, or cornrows, or a lot of folks who have accents. They're multilingual, but they're considered different because they have an accent, may like really change the way they speak in order to kind of hide that accent. And also, for example, like I have a 17-year-old Black son. He may know that he can't wear a hoodie when he's walking down the street because of the fact that he'll be racially profiled. Okay,
as a white individual, what can we do to avoid these racial biases and code switching?
Well, I think we need to normalize these conversations, and we need the education within organizations and within spaces to acknowledge the fact that racial trauma leads to mental health disparities, and that if we don't integrate training and education and normalize these conversations, then they go unheard and unseen. So I think educating yourself, absolutely, Google can be your best friend, but also bringing in experts and educators to train to help folks build that awareness.
And you're teaching a course.
Yes.
Okay, how did this course come to be?
Well, I was teaching anti-racism prior to the pandemic, and then of course, the Great White Awakening happening in 2020, and I decided to turn the work that I was doing into a course because there was a huge need. People were asking for it and needed the education, and so it led eventually to me going into organizations, institutions to teach.
Who is it for? Is it for individuals? Is it for businesses to know?
For everyone, for organizations, for businesses, for companies, for individuals that want to unlearn, because there's so much that we haven't been taught, and so it's the unlearning and the relearning that we begin to do together.
Any other tips that you have?
Oh, there's so many. We could talk for hours. Yeah. But I think it's about normalizing. I mean, number one, it's normalizing these conversations, because I think, especially here in Canada, we're really, focused on like being nice. And sometimes we, conflate niceness with equity, and there's a difference. You can be nice and you can still be harmful or be racist. And so we want to move beyond niceness and start to develop an anti-racist lens.
Where can people follow along?
You can follow me. My name is Selam Debs on Instagram, but also my website, selamdebs.com.
And we'll hook that up with our website, chch.com, because it's a very important topic, and it's a topic that we need to continue to talk about.
Absolutely.
Selam Debs.
Thanks
so much for being here. More Morning Live on your Thursday after this.